I got royalty inside my DNA. I got cannabis, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. 死んだ天性 I was born like this, it's immaculate conception. I just don't perform like this without you. A new weapon, I know
Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra! Hey guys, and welcome to What If Naruto was Sonic's Reincarnation Part 2, Rise of Mephiles. Now, this part is gonna have some dark nature to it. It's not gonna be completely dark, but it's gonna have some dark vibes to it, since when, you know. Anyway. So I don't want to waste you guys' time any longer. So as a treat for you guys, I'm not going to set a like goal for this one. If you feel generous, like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on for me. And you'll be getting a lot of content like this. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to set a like goal for this video because it's already set in stone. You guys like the content, so I'm going to release more videos to this series. So with that being said, part 3 might come out like next week. Like say for example, if I'm feeling generous, I might release like part 3 somewhere around like either Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those days. But till then, let's get into the story. So we left off with the team basically settling everything with the Land of Waves. The Land of Waves is rich, by the way, so yeah, everything is going good with them. Now I said that Sasuke would have some like Knuckles and Tails nature, and that's gonna hold candle to the story. So yeah. Basically, he's gonna show some of their somewhat of their powers and abilities, but just to a small level. Anyway, well, not necessarily small. You will see as the story goes on. So the team manages to get back to the village, and the other, Kakashi goes to check in with the third Hokage. Now, Naruto and Sakura basically go to train, and Sasuke tags along with them. Now, Sasuke watches as the two train together, and he notices that Naruto is really fast. Naruto is exceptionally fast. His Sharingan can't even track Naruto. And while they're training, Sakura points out that Sasuke can't even use his Sharingan, well, to a proficient level. Like when she's seen Kakashi do it, well, when she's seen Kakashi do it, and that's more later in the day, so you can see by that. She wants to basically help Sasuke obtain his Sharingan better. She wants to basically help him adapt to get his Sharingan to a mature level. And with that, Naruto even agrees with that. So while they're training, they try to push Sasuke to awaken his Sharingan, and he does, while in the Tsutomu state. Now, given the fact that what they did was push Sasuke a little too hard to the point that when he activated his Sharingan, he did end up passing out. Yeah, their powers overwhelmed Sasuke. But he did show signs of showing some red energy coming out of him, but more or less, they did overwhelm him. So Kakashi comes to the team and he announces the Chunin exams. It's gonna be a big thing that we skip over. We're gonna skip over the whole Kankuro and the guard thing like that. But no, actually, let's reverse. So the team announces the whole Chunin exams. Kakashi comes to the team and say, I've selected you guys to be a part of the Chunin exams. Now, the Chunin exams can be very dark and full of death. So I want you guys to tell me right now, are you ready for it? Each one of them says yes, like in canon. Well, without the point of Sakura being hesitant. Unlike her canon counterpart, this version of Sakura said yes, very fast. So Kakashi then says, well, you're recommended. Now, we fast forward to with the team coming back after a rigorous day of training. All 3 of them. Now, what they're trying to do is help Sasuke get his Sharingan to the Great Tomoe state. Now, they believe they just need more rigorous training to help Sasuke get there, but he's getting more accustomed to his Sharingan, and he's getting more used to it. So, with that being said, they make their way back into the village because Naruto said, hey, let's go get some ramen. And they all agreed, basically a hard day's at work, and basically learning new abilities. Sakura is, like I said, she has Shippuden itself, she has some of that strength, and it's showing in her early ages. Now, that's even what pushes Sasuke even more. Naruto can handle it because he grew up with Sakura, so yes, not too much surprising to Naruto to know that Sakura is really strong, and she is able to keep up with Naruto only at a small scale, not like a medium scale. Her speed catches Naruto off guard sometimes because he really doesn't expect Sakura to move that fast, because she's almost able to keep up with him at some points. Now, with that being said, when they come back into the village, Kankuro is basically running around the village, and he runs into Naruto. He even says, "Hey, Naruto," and he tells Naruto to take him on a run around the village. And Naruto says later, "We had a very hard day at training, Kankuro, and we just want to get something to eat." And he said, "Do you promise?" He said, he pats Kankuro on the head and tells him, "I promise I will come play with you after I get done eating." And then Kankuro puts up his pinky finger and says, "Pinky swear." To which Naruto just lets out a sigh and says, "I pinky swear." So the kid runs off, but he ends up bumping into Kankuro. And Kankuro looks at the kid and he says, "Hey, watch where you're going." Grabs Konohamaru by the hair and lifts him up in the, lifts him up in the air. And this is where he feels a huge thunderous punch to his abdomen, which he falls to his knees and coughs up a little bit of blood and spit. And he looks up to see who did that. This is where Naruto almost transformed into something like he didn't, just coming off a mission right now. Naruto's tired. He's battle damaged because the way their training go, they go to their damaged and tired. Naruto at this moment right now is very battle damaged, and he's starting to get frustrated, and seeing that frustrated him to a point to which he almost transformed into his semi-dark Naruto form. When Kankuro looked up at Naruto, he sensed this purplish energy around Naruto, and he felt murderous intent from this boy. And he stood back up and said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." Naruto just breathed out and said, "Listen, next time, don't grab the third Hokage's grandson like that, or you're gonna be dealing with me. That is very disrespectful. Next time, no, not next time. You shouldn't do that to kids. I don't know what kind of village you come from, but we don't do that here. Just be more respectful next time, please." And Kankuro would just say, "Yes." Tamari would almost be on a offensive right now, because she felt that murderous rage from Naruto too, only for a brief second, but yes, it was there. She felt something that made her sweat. This is what made Gaara's blood boil with excitement, saying that, "Mother, he's the one." He's clenching his fist right now, he almost finna pop a blood vessel at the amount of power that Naruto just let out. Even though it was just a small amount, Gaara could feel how strong that power really was. So when Gaara presented himself, he made himself aware, and he said the same thing that he did in canon. He noticed that Sasuke was in the tree and stuff like that. And what shocked Naruto is that Naruto wasn't even aware that Sasuke was up there. I mean, he has good senses and everything, but he was too much, he's too battle damaged and everything. Because Sasuke he thought Sasuke was right next to them, but I guess Sasuke was prepared to do a sneak attack in case things got out of hand. And he even questioned Sasuke about that later on when everybody left. "Why were you in the tree?" I was just observing. Just in case anything got out of the hand, I wanted to make sure. Oh, I was planning on sniping one of them too. And Naruto said, "I figured as much." Anyway, so they ate and they went to bed. Now this would be continuing on for 2 weeks. So they did 2 weeks worth of I'm not saying they trained for 2 weeks straight. They did have some rest days. Basically 3 days. Before the final 3 days, they rested their bodies, because you would need rest. But in anime, that's an exception. So anyway, on the day of the Chunin exams, they make their way to basically take the test. They get past that whole genjutsu thing easily, and this is when the team is intercepted by Rock Lee. And Rock Lee says that he wants to fight Naruto, and Naruto tells him that he won't be able to keep up with me. Well, let's say it in a different way. You're not going to be able to keep up with me. And Rock Lee would say, "Why?" "Because I'm faster than you."
way faster than you. Rock Lee would look at Naruto as if he's being cocky, and Naruto just holding a very like smile and saying that I'm faster than you. And Naruto's not bragging; he's just telling the truth. Rock Lee thinks that this kid is like bragging. Well, not kid, but he thinks Naruto is bragging right now. So what he does is test this theory with appearing right behind Naruto, and in a flash of speed, Naruto would do the same thing Rock Lee did, but only everything is moving in slow motion when Naruto's moves, and he ends up landing a kick to Rock Lee's back, which sends a ripple through Rock Lee's back, making it in slow motion. And then when time presumes, Rock Lee goes flying into a wall, and Naruto then speeds up right in front of Rock Lee and says, "I told you I was faster than you." And this would make Rock Lee saying, "What?" And then Naruto says, "And I'm not the only one on my team that's faster than you. I bet even Sasuke can keep up with you at this point." And he even pointed to Sasuke, and Rock Lee would look at Sakura, and he would say, "What about her?" And Naruto looked back at Sakura and said, "Oh, you wouldn't have wanted to fight her. She wouldn't have been as like merciful as I was. Put that in more better words, she wouldn't have pulled her punch, and her punch can be very devastating. Yeah, so you're lucky to go against me." Rock Lee would like feel something from this girl, but he wouldn't feel like it's in like a malicious nature, if that makes sense. So basically, Rock Lee would stand down, and then they would pass. They let the team pass. Everything would play off as normal. Naruto is not stupid in canon. Sakura is the same, has the same smartness and intelligence that she had. Sasuke has the same smartness and intelligence as he has. The only change is that Naruto isn't stupid. He doesn't blurt out or like that, so he answers every question proficiently. With Sakura around him most of his life, she made sure that Naruto kept up with his studies. She made sure that with Naruto training from time to time, that he would always have time to study. And she would often like get on Naruto about not paying attention in class and stuff like that. Do you want to grow up a buffoon, or do you want to like be a dumbass for the rest of your life? And Naruto would even take offense to this and say, and hold a rivalry. The only way that Sakura could have like intentionally make Naruto train more in that book, in books and intelligence, was Naruto, like I said in the beginning, like Naruto did go to studying and stuff like that, but it was mostly Sakura helping him, because Sonic like in Naruto, like them characters, they don't really pay attention in class. They're really like street smart, like battlefield smart. Like they hold enough intelligence in their powers and abilities to know what they can do, but as far as paying attention in class, you really never seen that in the story. Unless I'm wrong, correct me on the Sonic part, but unless I'm wrong. But anyway, Sakura did play a key role into Naruto with his intelligence, so yeah. Anyway, so everything will play out with normal with that. Now we're going to fast forward to the second part of the Chunin exams. And this is where Uncle would explain everything that the kids need to know about it, giving them flyers to sign so that the Leaf Village would even be held responsible. Now with that, Naruto is basically going over a plan with his team, telling them like the ins and outs of this forest. That he was here when he was a kid, that he came here just to run around the forest just to see what all's in there, and he tells them that the forest is a really dangerous place. And Sakura even questions this, and she says, "Oh, I get it. You went here when we had our first fight, when we didn't agree on something." And Naruto said, "Yeah, and I seen some things in here that basically scarred me. It's not mentally and emotionally, it's just some things that you don't plan on seeing in this kind of... It really lives up to its name, the Forest of Death. That's one thing I can say." Naruto would then catch a kunai all like very like casually. It was like his arm just moved by itself. And Naruto says, "Who threw this?" And he looks back at Uncle, who is surprised that he caught that kunai. She threw that with all, like, she's a Jonin, right? And she threw that with speed for a mere Genin to catch that easily, easily. Or it's like if Naruto just casually picked it out the air, if that's the way Uncle described it. Now with that, Uncle basically says, "Pay attention." And Naruto says, "I already know about the Forest of Death, and I already know about the dangers this forest can hold. It's just better if you tell us what we're after. I mean, I did hear you, so I really don't think you need to explain that. Something about an earth scroll and a heaven scroll, and something about a Anyway, we already know about the dangers this forest can hold, so let's just get on with this. Uncle just lets out a sigh and just waves her hand, and every team just rushes into the forest. Now, everything plays out normal with the forest and everything, but except for one thing, the teams don't separate. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, they don't separate from each other. They managed to get the Heaven Scroll, and they managed to get the Earth Scroll very easily. Very easily. With Naruto's speed and powers, and Sakura's strength, and Sasuke's Sharingan, yes, they managed to do a good job in getting both of their scrolls. Now they're just going to the tower. All of a sudden, they ran into a problem, into which Naruto basically dodges a big snake that was coming at them. And this is where, like, Orochimaru, well, basically a female character that we know, but for the story's sake, I'm just gonna call this guy Orochimaru. Orochimaru comes in, and Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura gets on the defensive. Who is this guy? Sakura says, and this is where Naruto speeds up the snake and kicks the woman in the face and says, whoever you are, you're in our way. We need to get out of here fast. And this is where Naruto jumps down to the ground, but before he could land, something else hit Naruto directly in the face, sending him crashing through trees. And this is where Orochimaru would have used his old snake, going into the ground and appear out of the ground to hit Naruto directly through a bunch of trees. Basically, what Orochimaru did was catch Naruto off guard. I know about you, you little speed freak. I know a lot about you. You don't think I've not studied? And of course, I know about that girl over there and her insane strength. I'm very smart, you see. Very intellectual. It's not hard to gather information if you know the right people to get that information from. You also have a very specific beast inside you named the Nine Tails. And Naruto says, yeah, what of it? And what do you know about the Nine Tails? And this is where Orochimaru would say, I know a lot, like I said. I possibly know more than you do, boy. So let's not play around the bush. I'm only after one thing, and one thing only. That sweet Sasuke. He looks at Sasuke with eyes of amazement. Sasuke gets freaked out by this, and he's taken aback. And this is where Naruto basically gets into a fight with Orochimaru. Now, while they're in this fight, Sasuke and Sakura do join in, and it is causing Orochimaru a little bit of back, he's getting pushed back, because Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke now, with Sakura help, how do I put this in a way you can understand? With all three of them basically teaming up against Orochimaru. Orochimaru he's very skilled, one of the legendary Sani, but the three of these people are causing him a problem. Sakura is fast. Like I said, she's able to keep up with Naruto, and her speed does put him off guard sometimes. I'm not saying that she can outspeed Naruto or something like that. No, she cannot, because Naruto is fast as hell, but she can't keep up with him before. Say for example, if Naruto is 10 miles ahead, she can be right behind him, but then Naruto can speed up, and then she's just, I can't catch you no more. That part. Anyway, so as they're fighting, they're joining in. Orochimaru then jumps back, and Naruto notices something on Orochimaru's waist. And Orochimaru basically just looks at them and says, I have to end this fast. He's thinking in his head, and he says, I gotta get back to taking the mantle of the fourth Kazekage. Damn, that name is so I forgot that name. Anyway, so Orochimaru is contemplating about this, and Naruto runs an idea across his team. He says, maybe that's the source of that guy's power. And this is where Sakura and Sasuke agrees with that idea, saying that if we get rid of that, maybe he will be weaker. And they do so, but Naruto does state that it looks weird to keep somebody's power. Maybe that's his true form or something like that. Either way, they make up a plan and they surround Orochimaru, and Orochimaru is getting into a battle with them, but all of a sudden he gets the thing off his waist snagged. And this is where Orochimaru basically looks at Naruto's direction, as he looks back at his waist, and then he looks at Naruto's hand, and then this is where Orochimaru starts to sweat, and he says, "Boy, give that back now, please." He says, "What, this? So it only proves my theory that this is the source of your power. You do not know what's in your hand. Please give it back, boy. The fate of this world. Naruto, that's your name, right? Yes, and what of it? Give me that scepter. Do not break it." And Naruto says, "Well, that's the problem with me. I don't always listen, you know." And Naruto snaps the scepter in half, and the glass shards fall to the ground as this black oozing liquid just leaks out. Orochimaru's face contorts in a face of anger and sadness and disgust and also just rage, and he looks at Naruto and says, "You stupid child! You do not know what you just did. You've just released darkness upon this world. Unbounded, unhinged darkness that will consume us all. I've done my best to contain it in that scepter, and you just broke it with ease." Naruto is laughing at Orochimaru and says, "Look, this guy's mad. We did really break his power." And this is where Sakura says, "Naruto, I don't think he's lying about something. Look at this black liquid." And Orochimaru says, "I have to get out of here." He teleport, like Orochimaru then like substitutions away. Like the snake goes poof and he goes poof, and then Naruto looks at the black liquid, and then Naruto jumps down there to basically take a better look at it, and this is where the liquid then shoots up into the sky and then swarms around the forest to where every team in the forest is feeling that dark negative nature, and then it lands right back into the ground, and then it absorbs Naruto's shadow. This is nostalgic. I would have never thought I would be resurrected in the person's shadow. Well, in your shadow, Naruto. But I have to thank you, though. You are the one who freed me." And Naruto would say, "Who are you? And how did you know my name?" "While I was in that scepter, I was observing. You want to know who I am? My name is Mephiles. Mephiles the Dark. I'm very eager to meet the person who freed me. I would have always thought I would have been resurrected in that snake's shadow. But nonetheless, everything he told you was the truth, Naruto. And you don't even know it." Naruto then looked at this guy with, like, he just stood back. Like, Naruto's on the defensive right now because he don't know what to expect. I mean, he looks just like Naruto. So Naruto is basically saying, "Why do you look like me?" "Like I said, I was resurrected through your shade, your image." Naruto then looks at Mephiles, who then rushes at Naruto and punches Naruto directly in the stomach. Sakura and Sasuke comes up, but they feel like they're moving slower for some reason, as Mephiles then comes up in front of them, smacks Sakura to the ground, and kicks Sasuke through dozens of trees, to which the boy goes unconscious. Then he goes back at Naruto, the both of them get into a fist fight with each other, but Mephiles stands out on top, kicking Naruto in the ribs, slamming Naruto into the ground, and like grabbing Naruto around the neck and then lifting him in the air and then repeatedly punching Naruto in the stomach as Naruto coughs up blood and spit. Then he throws Naruto up in the air to a point to where he grabs Naruto's leg and slams him directly into the ground. And Naruto then just yells out with this agonizing scream as if in pain. And then this is where Mephiles grabs Naruto by the hair and lifts him up in this like air to meet his face. And Naruto says, "What are you, and how are you this fast to keep up with me?" "Oh, you think I'm keeping up with you? No. In better content, in a relatable sense, let's just put this in a scenario. In any other given moment, you would have been faster than me and outsped me. But, like I said, my abilities stretch way beyond yours, Naruto's. As he tossed Naruto with such force to the point the boy lands caved in a tree, knocked unconscious. Sakura tries to manage to stand up, but then Mephiles comes right in front of her, and he looks directly into Sakura's eyes. And his eyes, she just felt so much despair behind his eyes. And Mephiles then touched Sakura on the head before punching her directly in the face, knocking her unconscious. This is where Mephiles stood up, and this purplish black aura just radiated over him. This is amazing. This is so amazing. My powers, I can only get stronger. But you know something? This was fun, Naruto. I'll be seeing you, and I'll be seeing your growth. But do know, manipulation is a strong and dangerous key. Ta-ta. And Mephiles disappears, turning into a black mist and disappearing from them. Naruto basically was opening his eyes, but this unconsciousness took Naruto away. Then they would come to and realize that Shikamaru's team saved them from the brink of death. They basically had a base, like under the tree where Sakura kept Naruto and Sasuke in canon, and they were resting. Now, Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke would wake up and see the team that saved them. Naruto and Sakura would get on the defensive with Sasuke activating his Sharingan to make sure they had their 2 scrolls, which they did. They didn't take their 2 scrolls because even Shikamaru stated that if we do that, we don't have enough power in our arsenal to fight the 3 of them. They would wash us. Anyway, so as we continue on, every team would make their way to the final part of the Chunin exams. But Naruto can't shake this feeling. Like, the 3 of them feel like this despair in their heart. They feel like everything is gonna go to mayhem quick. And Naruto tells Kakashi about this Mephiles guy. And Kakashi says, "Who are you talking about, Naruto?" Mephiles. And the 3rd Hokage ear perks up from hearing this name. And the 3rd Hokage then tells Naruto to come here. Naruto and the 3rd Hokage walk away. And Naruto tells him, "Old man, do you know about this Mephiles guy?" And the 3rd Hokage says, Mephiles. "Well, I don't know much about him, Naruto. I'll tell you what I do know, and it's basically from stories. Mephiles is a being that is hell-bent on destruction and despair. He wants nothing more than to cause misery to those around him. Such as things as death, destruction, killing people, innocent people, would amuse him. Laughter would come from his mouth. That's it. He's a being that is the personification of death. And if released into the world, well, it would be nothing that they can do. Humanity, well, the ninja world would have to work together to stop an entity like him. If he gets too strong, well, that's something that we must figure out how to defeat." Naruto just feels this cold wave of pressure just wash over him, saying that this is my fault. Naruto even starts to shed tears from this because his arrogance got the best of him. He thought that the scepter that was on Orochimaru's waist was the key to Orochimaru's power. That's some of that naive Naruto's nature playing into this part right here. And it's something that's like backed up on Naruto to the point he feels like, why did I do that? Why? But the protagonists never know what they did. When they always think they're doing something right, they he unintentionally didn't know that that was sealing a very dark person. Anyway, now as we get to the Chunin exams, we get to the tournament part. Now that's going to be stated into a later episode. But now we cut to Mephiles and what he's doing. Mephiles appears next to Orochimaru. And Orochimaru is horrified by this. But Mephiles just lifts up his hand and says, "Hey, I know that you're planning on attacking the Leaf Village. Go on with your plan. But I do want you to know now, you work for me. And if you think about sealing me in that scepter or creating one again, just know that now that I'm free and now that I'm resurrected in a new body, I want you to know that it won't work. And if you try, I will make you experience a painful and excruciating, torturous death. Given the fact that you're immortal, this would just amuse me to see you get cut up in millions and millions of ways. And believe me, I know a lot of ways I can torture you, Orochimaru." And that's where I'm going to end this part off. Let me know what you guys think of this part. Did I go down a dark path for you guys? Or did I do a good job introducing Mephiles to the story? Let me know how you guys are going to like Mephiles further on. Let me know what kind of abilities did you want to see out of Mephiles in the near future. He's going to play like that background character because he's going to be slowly manipulating some people in the story to do heinous acts and everything, because Mephiles is a skilled manipulator. I mean, let me tell you that now. So he's going to be basically the main villain of the story along with Madara. But you're gonna see. I hold very good things for part 3. Very good things for part 3. But now the 3 people apart from the story, such as Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto, they feel this very negative nature, but nobody else feels it more than Naruto, because he feels like he has a part to play in Mephiles unleashed upon this world. Anyway, you guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.
君の虜になって